Hello everybody, it's Kara from Wild Book Garden, and today I'm here to chat a little bit about some of the books I might be reading in January for the Short Stack Readathon. I will link the announcements that me and Kelly did down below. My friend Kelly from Cozy Reader Kelly has created this readathon, and the two of us have hosted it over the last couple years. And it's basically what it sounds like. You read short things. It goes for the whole month of January, and there's really not a lot of like rules or prompts to it. We do have a bingo board if that is useful for you, but you're free not to use it. I'm not really going to use it. I'm just gonna pick up some short things that I am wanting to read and hopefully jumpstart my reading for 2025. So I just have a little stack here, and also in the interest of getting back into the swing of reading, I'm gonna try to be much looser with like my TBR, or with how much I sort of like hold myself to it, or, you know, like think like, oh, it would be nice if I could read all of these and stuff like that. Like if I read other things, that's fine. If I don't read as much as I plan to, that's fine. I'm just trying to, like, I don't know, like I said, kickstart my reading. Okay, so the first one I have here is The Queen of Thieves by Johan Rundberg, translated by A.A. Prime. This is the second book in the Moonwind Mysteries series, and I actually have already started this. I'm not very far in, just like 36 pages, and I was really enjoying it. I just, like I said, didn't read very much over the last few months, so I haven't gone back to it, but I was liking it. It is a historical mystery set in 1880 Stockholm, and I really enjoyed the first book, and I want to finish the second one. Next I have one that, like, this is such a short book, and I have been reading it off and on, mostly off, for the last couple years. Not because it's hard to get through, but because it's just not what I hoped it would be, and I'm really struggling with it. So if I can make progress or finish it this month, that would be great, but again, I don't want to push myself too much during this readathon to pick up things that I'm not really wanting to read. But that is The Secret Garden Devotional, a chapter-by-chapter companion to the beloved classic by Rachel Dodge. The presentation of this book is gorgeous, like 10 out of 10 for the design. Like it's got like beautiful end papers, there's a ribbon bookmark, the illustrations are stunning. Who are the illustrations by, actually? Okay, I can't find it, so it might be, I wonder if it's Rachel Dodge, the author, who also illustrated it. Yeah, so I kind of knew going in that this could go either way for me. I am extremely picky about religious nonfiction. Like, honestly, I think most people are. And this is just really not aligning with my beliefs and with what I wanted from this. So I do plan to finish it. The future sections could work for me more. There are things here and there that I like, but yeah, as a whole, this is really not working for me. It's not the kind of thing that I feel is very, like, useful for me. Yeah, kind of a bummer about that one. But like I said, most of the books on here are ones that I'm very excited for. I also have The Cursed Hunter by Bethany Atazadeh. This is the third book in the Stolen Kingdom series. This is an indie fantasy series each book is a companion book that is a retelling of a different fairy tale. And there is a strong romance element throughout. I actually, a couple months ago, read The Genie Key, which is the second book. It's a Little Mermaid retelling, and I really loved it, actually. Like, the first book is a retelling of Aladdin, and I read that like several years ago, and I liked it but didn't love it. It was like around a 3 or 3.5 stars, so I wasn't super motivated to continue the series. But when I finally read The Genie Key and loved it, that sort of like re-excited me to continue with these books. And this is one of the shortest, I think, and I believe it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which I will always be trash for, so I'm looking forward to that one. Okay, I had to change my battery, so things might look a little different. But I also want to read Some Gathered Magic by T. Thorne Coyle. This is a collection of short stories that are all fantasy, and I think they're all on the, like, cozier side. I don't know if, like, technically if this would be considered cozy fantasy, and plus people have like different definitions for that. But the vibe I got from like reviews and from like things I'd read about the author is that this is really like a lot of stories about like good people and like, I don't know, friendship and found family, and I think there might be some romance in here as well, and it was just giving me good vibes. And it just seems like a nice thing to read near the beginning of the year, especially. yeah, I haven't read anything by this author before, but I just have a good feeling that I'm really going to enjoy their work, and specifically these collections. There's two others that I also have. Then I have a graphic novel, The Firelight Apprentice by Bree Paulson. I really know basically nothing about what this is about. I just know it's a fantasy, and Bree Paulson wrote a couple of my absolute favorite graphic novels, which are The Garlic and the Vampire and Garlic and the Witch. So I was thrilled to hear that this author or this illustrator was coming out with another graphic novel, so I pre-ordered it. And yeah, I can't wait. Like I said, no idea what it's about. It kind of doesn't matter. So I think that'll be a nice thing to start off the year with. I also have a poetry collection, Where Hope Comes From by Nikita Gill, Poems of Resilience, Healing, and Light. This is a collection of poems that she started writing as lockdown started happening. And even though we are in like a different, phase or era of the pandemic, and like lockdown isn't really a thing anymore in the US at least, I still think that a lot of the specific like topics and ideas that she covers, I think, are going to still very much speak to the moment we're in right now. Definitely I need some hope. I think a lot of us need some hope with some things going on, so I think this will be a good one. And I have really enjoyed some of the other work that I've read by Nikita Gill. I have read a couple of her other collections that I've really loved, so I think I'm going to really love this one as well. Then I have Into the Wind-Racked Wilds by A. Deborah Baker, also known as Shauna Maguire. This is the third in, I think there's 4 books in the series, the Up and Under series, and this is the series that is like mentioned in, I think, Middle Game, which is one of Shauna Maguire's other books, and so then she also wrote the book series that the characters in that book are fans of, if that makes sense. So I've read the first 2 and I enjoyed them. Like, they're not, I personally feel like the way that Shauna Maguire or A. Deborah Baker writes this kind of like whimsical, really like strange and creative kind of like portal fantasy, for my taste, I think there are other authors that write it in a way that I like more. Like, it feels a little forced to me sometimes, but I have still been enjoying things about them. Beautifully Bookish Bethany kindly passed on her arc of this one to me, so I definitely want to get to this. Honestly, the biggest thing that I'm hoping for from this book is that my boy Avery gets some of the respect and love that he deserves. He's one of the 2 main characters, and he is not the quirky, adventurous kid, so therefore he is not the main character. Like, it's supposed to be they're both main characters, but I really feel like the narrative is trying to, I don't know if they're trying to make you like Zib more, or if Zib is just like of a character type that is more common or popular. Either way, I just love Avery and I feel so bad for him, and I feel like the story doesn't really treat him that well, and other characters, like even the characters that like him and appreciate him, I don't necessarily feel like they always like treat him well. I don't know. Like, I'm just so proud of him. He's like doing his best. Like, he is stranded in this like wacky world that he has no preparation for. Like, Zib is much more suited to this kind of like environment, and Avery is just doing the best he can, and he's such a good person, and I love him. And it hurts my heart that the story as a whole doesn't seem to respect and appreciate him enough. So that's my opinion. So I'm hoping maybe in this 3rd book that we get more focus on Avery. That would be great. And then finally, the last book I have on this very, very casual TBR is Body Talk, 37 Voices Explore Our Radical Anatomy, edited by Kelly Jensen. And this is a ton of different writers, and I think maybe some of them are like artists, I'm not sure, but they each have an essay about like the human body, but specifically about like body and identity, and like the many like mental and emotional struggles that people have or can have around their bodies. There's a couple, like Anna Marie Macklemore has an essay in this, which I am so excited for. I love them. They're one of my favorite authors. I never shut up about them. And then there's a lot of other authors that I'm not familiar with. And I just think this is just like such an important book to have, like especially for young readers, but not only for young readers, because like I think all of us need reminding that like bodies can look and be so many different ways. So on the back, it mentions like size and shape, scoliosis, eating disorders, cancer, sexuality and gender identity, makeup as body armor. So I think it's going to cover like a huge range of sort of like topics that could be connected to the body, and I don't know, I just think this sounds like really, really cool, really important. It sounds like it's going to be executed very well. I feel like I've heard like really good things about this, and I also want to read this because it's something that I want to be able to recommend, because as I said, I do think this is such an important book to like exist and to be accessible to people, and if it's as good as I think it's going to be, then I definitely want to be able to highlight it and review it and recommend it. So that is my sort of little stack of options here for the short stack readathon. Like I said, I may read these, I may read other things, I really don't know. I'm trying not to pressure myself too much, but I am very excited to hopefully start off my reading year strong by finishing a few things, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I can already think of a couple other things that I might be in the mood for that I could have included here, so hopefully my wrap-up will be both more on time than my catch-up wrap-ups have been, and also maybe have some nice variety. So let me know if you guys are planning to join in, or if you have any ideas about the kinds of books you want to read as we start the new year. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!